Okay, so I'm out with my hedge trimmer again today, and you just saw that little bit of video where I was just trimming round. If you look very closely, I was trimming around a little sapling, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I do on the farm and the conservation work I do. So I just brushed my hair up because I'm wearing a hat, it's all flat down. Look. I'm glad I still got a little bit of it. Anyway, sorry, I'm sidelined there. Yeah, I was just saying, for me on the farm, the conservation work is as important as anything else I do, and I do really like the fact that I can look after the landscape a bit, and I can certainly do that when I'm hedge trimming. I've got the hedge trimmer on the back. I see a lot of farms, okay, with hedges where they're very empty. They basically just all they spend their time doing is flattening them down, and they don't really worry about leaving any trees. What's important to me is to try and leave some young trees to grow on up to replace these old ones. You know, it's very easy when you're on the hedge trimmer to have your hedge trimming arm out like that and just keep going along the top. And I would say to anyone who is doing, has got a farm and is thinking about doing any hedge trimming, although it's a little bit late in the season now, maybe next year think about leaving a few saplings, because there's nothing better than leaving a tree. And if you see this one behind me, we'll have a look now. This is one, believe it or not, I trimmed around this tree when it was a little stick like that. Probably, I don't know how long ago now, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, and you could hardly see what it was. It was just like one of these branches in the hedgerow here sticking out. And what I did, I made sure it had a good strong length going right down to the ground, because you see some of these just curve off and they're a branch to a tree in the middle, so that wouldn't make a good tree because it'd be all wobbly and wonky. But you can see that one, if I can zoom in, that one there has got fairly straight. And it had been trimmed off over the years, but not left to grow up. And it's an oak tree. And I thought, I'm going to leave that, because I want some more oak trees, because we've got plenty of older trees on the farm. In fact, there's one over there, look, you can see them in the distance. And there's a lovely big one over there. Let's just zoom over. There it is. There's a lovely big oak tree left in the hedge. But I wanted to leave something younger, so I basically went along with the hedge trimmer and trimmed round it for a few years. You know, look, there's an little ash one there coming up. I could trim round that if I wanted to, make that into an ash tree. But I need to have a reasonable gap between the trees, so I'm not spending all my time trimming around them. There's the trimmer, look. I mean, you can imagine that just flails everything off. Like it has here, bash this off. So I trim round that. I did the same over there with a maple. And further along there is another oak tree. I don't know whether you can see that. If I zoom in over there, there's another oak tree. It's blending in with what's behind there, but I left another oak tree. And now look at it, it's pretty good. It's probably 25 foot high, and that'll see me out. So anyway, I'm going to go over there, back to where I trimmed over around the new sapling. We'll have a quick look at that. Okay, so I'm just jumping out now. I've just turned the hedge trimmer off, so I'm not going to go near it now, but you can just see here, this is the new tree I'm leaving in the hedgerow. That's a field maple, and if you look at that, you can see it's already quite tall. When the hedge trimmer's stopped, I'll get down there. Let's have a look. I'm just finishing rotating now. Be careful, we don't want anything flying out from there. So there we go. This is our brand new tree, and look at it. It's quite. I think it's got a bit reasonably straight trunk on it. So I'm going to leave that in the hedgerow to grow on up, and hopefully we'll end up with a nice sapling there to look at in the future. And there, like I said, there's the big old oak tree over there, and there's not a lot in between. So important to leave that tree there. Yeah, so there we go. I do love that side of the farming really. As I said, it's nice for me to leave something like that, because over time I can watch it grow, and you know, it's not a short-term thing. It's probably going to be here after I'm gone. We don't leave much behind us, and if I leave a few trees in the landscape, I think that's quite a nice thing to do, really. And also, realistically, if you've got a very bare farm with just hedges that are all trimmed down, you're not going to get the birds and things on the farm, because a lot of birds, especially the slightly bigger ones, they certainly don't want to stay just in a hedgerow. They want to be up high, sitting on a tree, and woodpeckers and barn owls and things like that need something to perch on. They're not going to perch on the hedge unless they really have to. They're certainly not going to perch on the ground. So by doing that, I'm also, you know, creating a habitat for wildlife, creating a nice landscape for the English public to look over, because I think there's nothing better than an English landscape to go across. And if it's just bare with just big fields, it's not great. But I'm also leaving a legacy, a little bit of a legacy with that tree. So yeah, so that's what you get when you watch my channel. I think, you know, a lot of farming channels are just about machinery and tractors. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you the quirky tree in a field, you know, stuff for my kids and things like that. So anyway, back on the tractor, I'm off hedge trimming. Hope you're all having a good day, and just think there's one more tree in English landscape to look at. Brilliant. Cheers.